is defined as the development of events beyond a person's control, regarded as determined by a supernatural power. In our first work, Macbeth, Shakespeare utilizes the concept of fate and destiny to follow Macbeth as the ambitious Scotsman takes witchcraft for truth, leading to overconfidence, leading to his death. Macbeth allows sorcery to dictate his life choices and gets wrapped up in the supernatural forces controlling his fate, rendering his personal willpower useless. This downward spiral begins as three witches prophesize Macbeth as the Thane of Cawdor and the eventual king. Now, as king, Macbeth thinks himself invincible, shown by his refusal to mount a defensive force for the advancing army of Macduff. Once again, fate has blinded Macbeth, as he is oblivious to the fact that Birnam Wood is actually going to Dunsinane Hill. Ultimately, the prophecy runs true as Macduff, not a man of woman born due to his cesarean section birth, slays Macbeth, reaffirming that Macbeth's rule as king would be doomed from its start. Our second major work, George Orwell's 1984, demonstrates a different approach to fate through the use of Winston's defiance against the party. In this first scene, we show the coincidence and fate of Winston's initial sight of O'Brien. The men lock eyes amidst the 2 minutes hate, and Winston is later drawn into the grasps of the party and O'Brien himself. Winston's dreams act as precursors to his future, and thereby influencing his conscious decisions and set his destiny, as if the dreams are undoubtedly fated to come true. These dreams include lusting after Julia and the Golden Country, and even visions of his own assassination. Another aspect of fate in 1984 could be George Orwell utilizing the book to warn today's readers of our own possible fate if we are to let those in power become too strong and take away our natural human rights. The world would descend into an oppressive tyranny of terror, chaos, lies, and destruction. Our third work, Kite Runner, has the concept of fate embedded within the relationships between father and son. The aspect of father-son legacy is a double-edged sword. Amir is weighed down by the burden of guilt that Baba, and Amir himself, have created, while Sohrab still lives in a shadow of oppression due to his ethnicity. However, it is Amir's fate to redeem his own sins of not standing up for Hassan and framing the servants for theft, as well as the sin of Baba's affair. Likewise, Sohrab enacts Hassan's revenge and fulfills his father's wish to protect Amir through his use of the slingshot on Asef. Another instance of fate is when Amir and Soraya cannot conceive a child. Then, almost as if through God's will, Sohrab is rescued by Amir, effectively filling the void in Amir's family and redeeming 2 generations worth of selfishness. Our final work is Frankenstein. In this novel, Mary Shelley employs fate to advance character development. First, for Victor Frankenstein, fate and destiny come in the form of his life calling. Dedicated to furthering the studies of anatomy and other lab sciences, Victor feels obligated to construct the monster and make a profound scientific discovery for fame and recognition. As for the monster, fate comes in a different dynamic. Ever since, and even before, the initial creation, the monster is fated to a lonesome, anger-filled, and confused life of alienation. Our father-son legacy reasoning is also at play here. Victor is in denial of his monstrous creation and leaves the creature as a child in an adult world. Through denying his parental responsibilities, Victor destines the monster to a life of misery and despair. Furthermore, the monster is in isolation throughout the novel, from failing to assimilate to humankind at the hut because the villagers will always reject him, to retreating to Antarctica. The monster lives a life in solitude. Additionally, the journey to the South Pole offers another instance of fate, the coincidence that the story is even told by Victor to Walton. Lastly, a unique approach to fate in Frankenstein is that because Frankenstein is an assemblage of several human corpses, many living people need to die in turn to even out the balance that Victor upset when he dug graves for his body parts and found the secret of life. This is illustrated by the graveyard and how Henry, Elizabeth, William, and Justine paid the price for Victor's ambitions.